Hello and good morning. Good morning, parents. Good morning, students. Good morning, boys. How are you doing today on this lovely Monday? We are still on this Monday, and you guys, it's time to do some math. Yes, I know, I know. I know that you guys really like math and that you've been doing a lot of work with math because I've sent you so many worksheets, Miss. You've sent us a lot of work. Why, Miss? Why? Well, because we have to keep our brains working so that we don't forget any of the things that we have already learned. Okay, you guys? So, I know that I've sent you some worksheets, and they've all been about different topics like addition, subtraction, multiplication. Please let me know if you have done them, if you've had any difficulty, if they've been too many or too hard or too easy. That's okay too. What I want us to do is check all the work that we've been doing so far. I want to do that in a later video this week. I'm going to provide all the answers so that we can check all the worksheets that I had already sent before and also the one from this one. This is what we're going to do today, okay? Now, as you can see on my screen, we're going to do a little worksheet from our abacus book. Now, I know you don't have the book, so I took the liberty of scanning the page from the book, and it's available as an attachment in the email that you received today, of course. The idea is that you don't have to print them, you know that, but I'm going to show you a procedure that we're going to do to help us with mental calculation, okay? This procedure is about subtraction, okay? And the idea is that it says, I'm going to read the instructions here, complete the subtraction to match the jottings. Use similar jottings to answer the rest. You can use either 2 or 3 jumps to help you. Okay, so what is the idea here? The idea is to help our minds become easier when making calculations so that in the future we can make these calculations mentally. Okay, our mind is going to learn a procedure to simplify math so that when you do it in your mind, it's a lot easier and it's better and it's faster. Okay? So, if you have any questions about anything, if there is something that you didn't understand, please email me. I will be available to answer you as soon as I possibly can. As soon as I receive it, I'll check it, get into it, and answer all of your questions and all of your doubts. Okay? Now, let's do this first exercise. I'm going to make my screen here a little bit bigger so that you guys can see what I'm doing on the board. Now, we're going to do exercise number 1, okay, where we have the following calculation. 222 minus 187 equals blank. Now, we have already practiced this in class during several methods, okay, and I know that. But I want us to do this method so that we learn how to do it mentally in the future, so that we don't have to start guessing and getting our answers all wrong and trying to see what fits better because that's what I believe. No, we're trying to learn a system that's going to simplify the calculations in our mind, okay? So, if you see on your paper, there's a line like that. And you see these little petals where frogs have in ponds. Actually, this is true. If you go to a pond and it has a lot of these things, it's because frogs live there and they jump from one to the other, and sometimes they have flowers, okay? And these jumps are going to make it easier for us to make calculations, okay? So, this is our end number, 222. And this is our start number, 187. Now the idea is to jump to the closest mental calculation that I can do to have steps to make it all easier in the end. So, if you see on that line, you have the number 190, which is the shortest number. Now, This should be fairly easy. 187, 188, 189, 190. How many steps are there from 187 to 190? Just 3 steps. Yeah? You understand? God, I hope so. Okay. Then, from 190 to 200, how much is that? If I take 200 and I put 190 during our normal procedure, 0 minus 0 is 0. I have to borrow here. This 2 turns to be a 1, so that this could be 10. 10 minus 9 is 1, and 1 minus 1 is 0, and I don't have to put it. So how many steps do we have here? I have 10. Very good. Now, from 200 to 222, we can do the math as well. If you'd already know it, 222 minus 200, place my line, 2 minus 0, 2, 2 minus 0, 2, 2 minus 2, nothing. So I don't have to put anything here. I don't have to put a 0 there. I go and I have 22 jumps, 22 steps in this jump, okay? You see that frog imaginary jumping from one to another to here? Okay. Now, what is the big deal here? Between these two items, this is, let's say, one jump, and this is, let's say, the other jump. Now, here I have two numbers, but I have to add to see the amount of distance. So how many steps is that? 10 plus 3 is 13. And this is just 22. If I want to know the final calculation of this, I go, okay, so 13 plus 22, how much is that? Now 3 plus 2 is 5, and 1 plus 2 is 3. So 35. How do I know if this is correct? You might ask yourself. And there's a simple way of knowing if this is correct. You take the bottom number, which is the smallest number, the bottom number here, 187. Yeah? What do you do to that? You add 35 to it. I put 35 here instead of subtracting. I do that. So what happens here? 7 plus 5 is 12. Very good. Can't put that in the units. Got to jump to the tens. So 8 plus 1 is 9. 10, 11, 12. Wow, another 12. I have 1 here in the hundreds. I have 1 here plus 1 is 2. Ta-da-da-da-da-da! 222 is the total. So 222 minus 187 equals 35, and there you have the answer to the first exercise. Okay? Now, what's going to happen, boys? You're going to follow the same procedure. It gives you a little help in exercise number 2, exercise number 3, where you have 334 minus 275. You can do it in the method that you normally use, but I want you to start practicing with this frog jump method, okay? You can use, in this case, this calculation is using 1, 2, and 3 jumps. You can do it in 2. You can go, for example, from 275 to 300, and from 300 to 334. Now, in these two, the answers are already here for you. But what happens in number 3? Let's do this one together, shall we? I'm going to erase over here. Let's see if we can do this one, all of us together. Erase my handy board here. Okay, so let's take number 3. 433 minus 368 equals blank. Yeah? Okay. Now it starts with my handy line, 368 over here, 433 over here. Now, 368, there's a line. There's 370. There's another line in the 400. So what do I have to do here? From 368 to 370, 368, 369, 270. Okay, so that would be 2. You see it? Okay. Now from 370 to 400, how much is that? I take my 400 and I subtract 370. 0 minus 0 is 0. Okay? This is a 0. I have to borrow. This is going to be a 3. This is going to be a 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. And 3 minus 3 is 0. So over here we have 30 jumps. Okay, 30 in our second jump. I'm sorry. Then the same situation goes here. 433 minus 400. 3 minus 0, 3. 3 minus 0, 3. 4 minus 4, 0. 3, 3. Does that make sense to you? It makes sense to me. What do I have to do now? I have to add these numbers. I'm going to change my color here and say 33. I'm going to add 30, and then I'm going to add 2. I'm adding 3 minus 0 is 3. Sorry, 3 plus 0 is 3, plus 2 is 5. 3 plus 3 is 6, and there's nothing here. The answer to this would be 65. Let's see if that's true, you guys. We always have to find out. So what do? 368 and 65. I am going to add it. See? So 8 plus 5, how much is that? 13. Okay. So 1 goes to the 10. 6 plus 6 is 12. Plus 1, 13. 1 more 3. 1 goes up here. 3 plus 1 is 4. Ta-da! 433, which is this number. This is correct. Now you guys, I want you to do the exact same thing with 2 or 3 jumps for the remaining exercises on this page. And I'll see you later for the next part of this lesson.